It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, here on this Friday, I'll get you updated on what's happening around the business world, the Market Watch, see what the market's doing today after kind of an up and down week overall. Of course, we started the month being in the red after last 3-day weekend, and then it's kind of got some positive here as the weeks have gone on. We'll get that looked at. Stocks we're paying attention to today, and of course, all the local, national stories that you need to know going into the weekend that affects your portfolio, business around town, etc. It's a fun day to do this show here on Friday. Short week. Doesn't feel like a Friday here, but let's finish up strong with that Market Watch. Well, we got that we were waiting for the non-farm payroll report from the government today. We know the last two payroll and jobs reports over the last couple days have been weak. We got that information. That will be our first story coming up here. But the markets did not respond negatively to that non-farm payrolls report, at least initially. Then everything has gone up and lost its earlier gains out there, right? Economic worries are out there. And then the rate cut hopes with all of this job news and the labor market news this week. Everybody's kind of, hoping for that rate cut coming. I do think we're getting it. It's a matter of how big it's going to be. We'll talk about that here, bud. And then it's a Friday, right? A Friday afternoon, late in the trading day. You're starting to see the sell-off happen, and it's flipping to the red, as you can see on your screen. The Dow Jones is down the 337 points, 45,291. The S&P 500 is down 42 points. 64.59. The Nasdaq's down 81 points right now to 21,626. The small cap index, the Russell 2K, is down 1 point here to 2379 for it. And then Bitcoin back into that 110,000 range here today. That's 133 points down. It's nominal there for Bitcoin. It loses that and gains that quickly. But more importantly, it was trading at that 111,000, 112,000 range yesterday. Back down to the 110,594 for Bitcoin here on this Friday. And stocks we're paying attention to right now, well, that's lunchtime, right? And actually know somebody that just found out they have COVID here coming up. So let's look at Campbell's, ironically enough. The Campbell Company. Food stock, it's the old Campbell Soup Company. They just renamed it to Campbell's. Well, they are climbing here again today, 3.40%. They did their quarterly reporting on Wednesday and had good numbers then. Back on Wednesday, shares were up more than 3%. Today, 3.40% as well. The week-to-date gain for Campbell is actually around 6% for the week. Why is that something to pay attention to? Well, I pulled up the macro number, right, on Campbell for the year of 2025, and they're actually down 19% year to date. They've had cost issues, tariff issues as well. That's been dealing with Campbell's profits this year. We've talked about it a few times here at McCollum on Business. So I was kind of interested on the whole stock as a whole for the year because of this week after they announced their earnings on Wednesday. So still 19% down for the year, but at least we're up around 6% here just this week. So maybe this is the time when Campbell's does turn their story here. But are those tariff profit concerns going to go away anytime soon is the question that you would have to follow up on with them. Then another company dealing with tariff stuff, Lululemon Athletica is the company name. Lululemon. Down big today, 18.33% down. Well, their full year guidance, not a shocker if you follow this company and where they make their products. Well, it missed estimates. Lululemon expects first fiscal year earnings of $12.77 to $12.97 per share. The estimate out there that the analysts were looking for was $14.45. Huge miss here for Lululemon in their full year guidance right now. A lot of that has to do with tariffs, right? They make a lot of their products in Vietnam in those areas, which of course now have those tariffs attached to them. They also did their full year revenue guidance, and it's falling short as well when they renew that. Lululemon has a tariff issue out there, and that is definitely being signaled here on the market here and by the company with their full year guidance being adjusted repeatedly based off of that. And then there's Tesla. Their stock is up 3.49% here today. There was a proxy filing here, and it detailed the payment plan to their CEO, Elon Musk. There's a fight over this before. Some investors had sued Tesla. They fought over lot of money going to Elon Musk in a payment. He eventually got that money after that big fight. Well, now with this proxy filing, if Elon Musk achieves the goals that are in his contract out there, he'll be awarded more than 423 million additional Tesla shares. It's going to do two things. One, the valuation's over $1 billion right now, obviously, if you do the math here, right? $350 stock, 423 million additional Tesla shares. It's basically a record of payment there from that side. But also, what does it do? It's going to increase, obviously, his stake in the company to a higher level with that 423 million additional Tesla shares. We'll have to see how some of those investors that didn't like his last payment plan, how they'll feel about this one coming up if he hits those goals here. So Tesla up on the news today, 3.52%. And Tesla is one of the companies there with Elon Musk that is tied directly to him. Right? If he gets into the politics and makes people mad, well, Tesla stock goes down. If Tesla, does well and Elon Musk is doing well, Tesla stock goes up. So it's interesting to see how that works as we go through that. Later on, when we do our last market watch here coming up, we'll look at Guidewire Software. That is a software for property and casual insurance industry. They reported out there. We'll talk about their stock. Samsara. They are a dash cam and GPS company, if I can remember correctly on them. And then a company called Build Holdings we'll look at as well. So some obscure companies, at least on this program, and things like that. They're a billing and invoicing company. So we'll see what they're up to today. Are companies and everybody billing and invoicing a lot right now? Well, we'll tell you with that stock coming up. And first story of the day that kind of leads to the stock market. Like I said, it is losses now, but initially there was a gain earlier today. But the non-farm payrolls report did come out earlier today. This is what everybody's been waiting to see after the last couple of days reporting. Well, the non-farm payrolls actually increased, but not by a lot. 22,000 for the month. The unemployment rate actually rose to 4.3% also for last month. This is all from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the report that did come out earlier this morning. Keep in mind that this is the first report since President Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so a new head there as well. Well, in terms of those non-farm payrolls, economists were expecting, in terms of the the expectations, they were looking for payrolls to rise by 75,000 number. So I told you yesterday, expect this number to miss today. It missed by a lot today, just like the ADP report did yesterday, and that's what's happened. So this shows a marked slowdown from July, and July had an increase, folks, as well. So the July increase had 79,000 increase. It was revised up by 6,000 here in this report today. Revisions show a net loss of 13,000 in June. The prior estimate was lowered by 27,000 at that time. So like I said, numbers not good in terms of the economy. We expected a down number, but not that much. But also the first report here with that new head of Bureau of Labor Statistics. What does this mean? I'll just tell you right now. It means we're getting a rate cut coming up by the Fed this month. The job market is slowing down. That's something that they'll cut interest rates on to kind of stir that stuff out there. The question you got now, right? Quarter or half a point rate cut out there. Definitely a quarter one, I believe, is coming. If I was a betting man on the market, could it go to a half a point to kind of stimulate it even quicker is the bigger question. But these reports this week lead us kind of to that side of expectations. Another thing that happened today, Treasury yields down big today as well, which means big drop in mortgage rates, folks. The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage, it actually dropped 16 basis points today. 6.29% is where it was at one point today. This is all according to Mortgage News Daily, and this happened directly after this August employment report that came out earlier today. It's the lowest rate since October 3rd and the biggest one-day drop since August of 2024. Rates are finally getting out of that high 6% range, topping off on 7% range where they've been stuck for a long time now, many months. The drop, big changes here in this shock of a drop, right? Back in May, the rate then on that 30-year fix peaked at 7.08%. So this is good news for buyers looking at houses. People got to, out there. The refinance market is going to take off here today as well, based off of these interest rates. And it also means houses became a little bit more affordable for people. You can get maybe a bigger house, a little bit bigger house than you were looking at when the rates were in the 6.75% there. This is big news here on the mortgage because I believe we're not going to see a huge economy turn until people can start buying houses again and affordable houses coming up here. So mortgage rates, big drop. I expect stories next week will be about refinancing going through the roof, people putting mortgage things. The next mortgage report might be an interesting one with the big drop that we saw here today on those treasury yields out there. And then just as a follow-up here, we've talked about the semiconductor imports and the tariffs on that. Well, President Trump came out yesterday and he said his administration would impose tariffs on those semiconductor imports from companies that are not moving their production to the United States. You don't have to move all your production here. He just wants some of your production here going forward. He said all this yesterday when he had that dinner with major technology company CEOs. All the big companies were there. Trump said last month, if you remember, the United States would impose a tariff of about 100% on imports of semiconductors and said then it would not apply to companies that are manufacturing in the U.S. or have committed to do so. So last month he said it, reiterated it yesterday, gave no details on it. But if you remember, 100% tariff, and it was going to go in phases, but 100% tariff on those imports of semiconductors is what he was threatening originally. We've seen higher numbers up to 200% there. So again, hitting that market there yesterday for these companies to, at least announce you're moving some manufacturing here to help you out on that tariff side, right? We talked yesterday about Google, the other day about Google not having to break up and sell their Chrome browser. Well, yesterday a federal jury actually ordered Google to pay $425.7 million. This is all because they improperly snooped on people's smartphones during basically a 10-year period, and spying on your phones if you have a Google phone, Android phone. The verdict was reached Wednesday, and it was up in San Francisco federal court. So it was a 2-week long trial in a class action case covering about 98 million smartphones that were being used in the United States. And this time frame was July 1st of 2016 through September 23rd of 2024. So total damages awarded in this case is going to be about $4 per device is what it comes down to. Big money, right? Google denied that it was improperly tracking the online activity of people who thought they had shielded themselves with privacy controls. Google, of course, maintained the stance, even though the 8-person jury actually concluded Google had been spying in violation of specifically California privacy laws at that time. The lawyers who filed the case had argued Google had used the data that they had collected off the smartphones. They did it to help sell ads tailored toward users' individual interests. That, of course, is a strategy that resulted in the company reaping billions of dollars in additional revenue with that targeted ad program. The lawyers did frame those ad sales as illegal profiteering, and that merited damages of more than $30 billion is what the lawyers were saying at that time. So that comes off of Google escaping the breakup order there by that judge earlier this week. Now big fines here. And like I said, that's based off class action. That's based off of the California privacy laws, and we know the crackdowns are there even more for these companies. coming up, but Google not escaping that one there. I'm sure they're going to, appeal it and everything. They usually do out there. So interesting here. We're going to kind of go across the country because, right, Salesforce just said they're laying off 4,000 people, of their workforce because of AI. So how prevalent is people losing their jobs based of AI? Well, 14% of service companies in that New York, northern New Jersey area, well, they say they've scaled back hiring or plan to do so in the next 6 months, all because of artificial intelligence. The interesting part of this story, though, that caught my eye, few have actually laid off employees because of AI as of now. They're just slowing down their hiring process or not hiring on that side as well. So this is a new survey out there. And like I said, it's an East Coast thing. So we'll have to pay attention to it the rest of the country. Everybody's using AI. Every company is integrating it, right? We talked about Salesforce laying off 4,000 people because of AI and stuff like that. 40% of that regions over there in the Northeast, their service companies used AI this year. That's up from 25% for the same time last year. This is according to a survey here, August survey of 300 executives by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So these numbers are staggering. If it's this way in New York, it's this way probably most of the country. Another 44% in the survey said they expect to see AI over the next 6 months. The share of manufacturers using AI has jumped from 16% all the way up to 26%. Another third are expecting to adopt the technology in coming months if they haven't already. So then you look at service firms. 12% of those use AI up there in the Northeast. 5% of all service companies, is what that equates to out there. They said they had hired fewer workers as a result. 23% saying AI using businesses, which is 9% of all service firms, said they expected to bring on fewer workers in the next 6 months because AI is doing those jobs. No manufacturer said they've pared back hiring in recent months, but 10% of them did say they plan to do so in the months ahead because of AI. So this is interesting numbers here. We're getting a cold hard facts on artificial intelligence being used by companies here in this survey by the Federal Bank of New York. 1% of service companies using AI in that sector said the technology has prompted them to lay off workers over the past 6 months. That's down from 10% just a year ago. Another 13% said they anticipate layoffs in the next 6 months. The report did note, though, that similarly share plan to cut workers in the 2024 survey, and then very few actually cut people. So they said they were anticipating big cuts and then didn't technically follow through with a lot of that side of it. So will they follow through this time, right? Many businesses are retraining existing workers affected by artificial intelligence as well. That's a third of service firms and 14% of manufacturing companies said they've retrained workers in response to the technology. Nearly half of both type of companies expect to do so in the next 6 months. So positive is, well, the negative is people are losing jobs due to AI. Positive, not layoffs are happening for that. It's just they're being retrained into other areas, and layoffs are slim out there. Of course, like I said, we heard that Salesforce story earlier, and it's like people are going to start losing their job to the computers. Not so, apparently, at least according to that survey out of the New York area coming out yesterday. And then, folks, do you like your toys? Do you like to have fun out there? I, for one, am not a Lego fan at all. And this makes me, it's cool to see, but it also makes me kind of like, a little bit. I'd love to have it, but not at this price point and I have to work too hard to put it together. Have you seen this? It's going to be the most expensive Lego set to date, right here coming up. The only one to nearly hit a 4-figure price tag. They kept it below the $1,000 mark for a reason, right? It's going to release next month in October as well. This was all an announcement yesterday by Lego. And if you're watching us, not listening, you see it there on the screen right now. The Death Star. It's an Ultimate Collector Series Death Star. It's inspired by the moon-sized space station from the legendary Star Wars franchise. $999.99 is its cost. It's just, 1,000 would have been too much, right? Yeah. Obviously, that number doesn't include tax, so it'll go into that $1,000 range. So it measures 28 inches tall, 32 inches wide, and 11 inches in diameter. It contains 9,023 pieces that you get to put together. Lego recommends it for people ages 18 and up. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather eat those pieces than put them together. Additionally, this build includes 38 Lego minifigures of iconic characters from the Star Wars franchise. So you get Luke Skywalker, and you get them in two variants, right? Jedi and Stormtrooper, different versions of him. Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, the Emperor Palpatine. You get a couple droid figures with that as well, with that 38 Lego figurines you get inside. It'll be available for purchase starting Saturday, October 4th. It will sell out quickly. Insider early access of the set will be available from October 1 to the 3rd. According to Lego, if you are an early insider person with Lego, congratulations on having that status. There you go, folks. I think it's intriguing. Somebody wants to give it to me, I take it, put it up. But, yeah, that's $1,000 for that. When we come on back, folks, we get into some Arizona laws and things here. Of course, do another market watch. All that and more. Finish up this Friday strong here on McCollum on Business. Here, McCollum on Business, here on this Friday of a short week. The week went by fast, didn't it? And look, you just saw the ad for the pit stop. That is up on demand at Robat TV right now for you subscribers. Of course, up on YouTube as well on the free YouTube page here for the shows. And then, of course, free podcasts as well for it. Follow the pit stop at the Pit Stop Talk on X and Facebook. Get all the updates there. And the podcast for that, the free podcast, is only on Podbean right now. We got to just resend the links out. We got to do some corrections, send some links out to get it on everything else. But that's where you can find it right now as well. Of course, the main event wrap for the week here as well. Uncle Lou joined us today. UFC and NFL talks. Came in a day later than normal this week due to his schedule with football starting. So that was today. That is up. Free podcast system as well. That's on any of your favorite podcast systems. Of course, it'll go up on YouTube also here. When we're done, it'll be up here when we're done with this show. And then, of course, Robat TV on demand as well for you out there. And, of course, this show will be up on the YouTube page as well on Robat TV. No podcast for this show as of yet, but we appreciate everybody joining us. And the YouTube page, we're just reactivating that. We used it for a while there on the sports side, kind of moved away from it a little bit, and we've had some requests of people trying to get us back out there and finding us. So we're giving you avenues to find us out there. And look, our Robat audience is our biggest audience. We appreciate you guys for joining us. Absolutely. That share us with everybody else out there as well. So with all that, let's get back into that Market Watch. It's a Friday, bad jobs reports. People are questioning, right? Economic worries, rate cut, are they coming? Are they not coming? And the market's just sell-off mode here today. Based off of that information, Dow Jones is down the 305 points right now. S&P 500 is down the 38. NASDAQ's down to 66 points. The Russell 2K down 2 points right now for it, that small cap index. Bitcoin, she went to the black side, the green side of things, but it's still in that 110,000 range, 110,823 for Bitcoin here today. And the biggest news of the day in terms of the economic stuff is mortgage rates. Biggest one-day drop in over a year, 16 percentage points down for mortgage rates here today. So you're in the market for a house, you're closing on a house, you want to refinance your high mortgage, now is the time to do it, folks. Jump on that with that big move here today in the marketplace. Stocks that we are paying attention to right now, we'll go with some companies that necessarily haven't heard of out there. Guildwire Software is the first company we're going to look at. Now, they are a software company for the property and casualty insurance industry, up big today, 18.52%. They've reported fiscal fourth quarter earnings and revenue that, of course, topped estimates with the stock doing this today. They had an adjusted earnings per share of 84 cents. The estimate amount was 63 cents in earnings as per share is what they're looking at. Blew that out of the water. They came in with revenue of $356.6 million, well above the $337.8 million in revenue that everybody was anticipating. I just don't know how to feel about a software company for the property and casualty insurance industry having so much revenue. I don't know how that makes me feel because that means insurance companies, what kind of dastardly deeds are they doing out there? But Guildwire Software, in all seriousness, 18.59% up here today. Then we got Samsara out there. This is a dash cam and GPS company, up 15.57% here. They reported their second quarter earnings and revenue. And no shocker if they're up 15%, both beat expectation levels for them. They have adjusted earnings of 12 cents per share. The estimate was 7 cents per share, so good numbers for this company. The revenue came in at $391.5 million. Well, blew away the estimated number of $372.2 million. Samsara here company. I hope I'm saying that right. GPS company, dashcam company, up big based off of their quarterly numbers here today. And then finally, the biggest jump of the day that I could find, Bill Holdings is the next one we're going to look at. This is a billing and invoicing company out there, and they are up 9.64% here. It posted fourth quarter adjusted earnings of 53 cents per share. The expectation was 41 cents per share. The revenue was $383.3 million. The expectation was $376.3 million. These three companies performing well, blowing away their quarterly numbers and estimates, and also stocks up big today as well for Bill Holdings. They're at 9.72%. It was up bigger today. It was up in the 15-16% range earlier. Come down a little bit, but it is right there for us, for them. And so look at some companies doing good out there as well. And I want to tell you about here, at least locally, that there's an Arizona law. I hadn't heard about this before. And it's going to soon allow what they call middle housing, is how they phrase it in the real estate industry out there. This is going to basically duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, that stuff, townhomes, those types of buildings. And you'll be able to build those buildings on single-family lots in cities with 75,000 or more people. This is a law that has passed and has been signed in. It was House Bill 2721. It was signed into law by Governor Katie Hobbs in 2024. The idea behind it is to, of course, increase density and make basically housing affordable within a 1-mile radius of a city's downtown district, is what the implications of the goal are, right? So take, for instance, downtown Phoenix, right? You can take a single-family lot, raise a house that's currently up there, and then put a triplex on there, a duplex on there, and get more people living in that area as well. It's set to go into effect here coming up in January of 2026 is what we're looking at. So basically, help housing supply, create more affordable options is the idea behind the bill. Well, residents of several historic neighborhoods there in Phoenix, well, they're pushing back on this bill right now. You see right there a historic house there in central Phoenix, right downtown Phoenix. These houses aren't cheap. They were built in the early to mid 1900s. They're worth upwards of $1 million or more. Some are 800,000, but they're all in that range there. And they protect it well. If you drive down there, you see some nice single family, smaller homes from that area. If you drive down there, this bill is being fought for them because obviously they don't want somebody to come in, buy one of these historic houses, raise it, tear it down, and then build something newer on there, a triplex or whatever from that side is what they want. So they're out fighting that style of it as well, happening in that area. I didn't know this bill was there. Maybe we saw it and talked about it. I know there was the casita one in the backyard we talked about a lot last year as well. So there's community meetings about it, and it's not just Phoenix as this is affecting. Obviously, this can affect Chandler, Mesa as well, in those areas to get. And the whole idea, like I said, is things. There's the Willow Historic District over there in Central Phoenix. Beautiful old homes in that area. They're a big one there that's fighting this law here. So because they're just afraid somebody's going to sell their house, it's going to get raised, and you're going to get a duplex there instead and stuff like that. So. It's an interesting fight coming up, interesting side of it as you're trying to get, I'm sure the implications weren't raising, getting people to buy these expensive homes, old homes here historically, getting them to be taken down. I'm sure that wasn't in the case of it. Maybe it's a byproduct of unintended consequences. But some historic neighborhoods in Phoenix are fighting this law coming up. We'll have to wait and see. Do they get an exemption? Historic neighborhoods get an exemption? Is the law going to be tweaked a little bit before it goes into effect coming up in January? Just something I wanted to make you aware of if you are in this situation on what your neighbors could be here coming up with these zoning laws coming into effect here in January and what they could mean as well coming up. Then out by me out in the East Valley here, right, you got that Legacy Park, that big sports park out there. It's gone through a foreclosure. The original owners got nailed for some fraud stuff and everything. Well, the growth continues out there. This is off the State Route 24, off the 202 down there by Williams Gateway Airport. Well, Legacy Park has been unveiled here by Vestar. It's going to be a $2 billion mixed-use project out there in the Far East Valley of Mesa, kind of on the border of Mesa and Queen Creek as well. So Vestar is Phoenix-based. Real estate investor. These plans were released earlier this week for this very, very large and expensive deal. I have one question about this that we'll talk about. It's going to be called Legacy Park. It's going to be a resort, high-end retail and dining, offices, and 2,400 apartments. Obviously a multi-billion-dollar project here. They say $2 billion is the number they have right now as well. It's going to be on 200 acres. Near that Mesa Gateway Airport out there. It's going to be close to that Arizona Athletic Grounds. And then, obviously, the Arizona State University Polytechnic campus is right in that area as well, as what we're dealing with. They want to build what they call an urban oasis. So they say they want to meet demands for the growing communities of Mesa, Gilbert, Queen Creek, but also make a business headquarters spot, right? In the growing area that's happening out there is what they want to do. My question is why a high-end resorts? I get it. Why not some Holiday Inns and things so people that go to that Legacy Park can, get hotels there and stuff. That's not a high-end side. But that's coming out there in Mesa. That's a NIMBY situation for me, right? Not just a few miles from my house, and that traffic in that area is crazy right now. So adding that in there, but that is out there and coming as well. Then we finally got confirmation. Nothing specific, from Tesla necessarily, but, Lucid Group is here as well. They announced the closing of a $300 million investment, in Lucid by Uber Technologies. It is official. We found this out that it is here. We've heard the rumors that it was coming, but it is officially done now. So this investment by Uber into Lucid was made because robo-taxi program. Uber wants to have robo-taxis out in the world, and they want to, have Lucid be involved with it. That deal was announced back in July the next generation global robo-taxi program that Uber announced in July. So, the robo-taxi will utilize Lucid's electric vehicle technology platform. It's going to be built there in Lucid's manufacturing facility in Casa Grande. It will operate exclusively on Uber's ride-hailing platform as well with this investment. So the funding does support the partnership between the two companies. Development costs, with the with developing that robo-taxi. So official confirmation that Uber, Lucid joining up forces for the robo-taxi, and here in Arizona as well. So they do expect to launch robo-taxis next year in a major city, is all they say. Well, it doesn't have to be Phoenix if they're being built here, right? So this new robo-taxi service will combine, the software-defined vehicle architecture of the Lucid Gravity vehicle, if you're familiar with that. And then obviously, level 4 autonomy system that Lucid has out there. And then, of course, it's going to be combined with Uber's vast network there of cars and picking people up and things like that. So that's officially happening here in the Valley as well. And then 3 Arizona businesses have won USDA funding to scale production. This story comes to us from In Business. I'll leave you with this story here on the Friday as well. I didn't want to leave with robo-taxi cars because, I don't know, I watch too many movies and don't want that negative vibe out there as well. So Nailwood, the Zone community, if I said that correctly, that's located on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. They're getting some funds to automate their egg processing equipment, specifically for the San Carlos Apache Excellent Processing Modernization Project. I love when you put egg in a word to call it something. Yeah, so they have more than 200 hens that are pasture raised and moved daily with a mobile coop. So they're getting some of that award funding. That's going to help increase efficiency and overall production rates for that community out there. Oatman Farms, which is over by the Gila River, they'll use their funding that they're getting to enhance their local organic grain production. They're going to upgrade to a 48-inch stone mill, which will increase flour production 10 times using organic heirloom grain grown on their specific farm. So this upgrade, what it's going to do is allow the farm to meet the demands of existing contracts of school districts that they already have and even expand to additional school districts with their deal. And then the last one to get this USDA funding, Cattlemen's Processing. They're over there in Cochise County. They're going to expand their current operations as the only USDA-inspected facility in southeast Arizona. Now, which is weird, right? Because southeast Arizona is home to very large cattle ranches, probably the biggest ones in the state as well. And maybe the whole United States, to be honest with you, right? Maybe some in Texas are bigger, but they're big down there. The funds are going to be used to expand the processing capacity and continue to support that southeast Arizona ranching community with those funds out there. So 3 entities getting some of that USDA. So this is the USDA is committed to distributing $4.1 million in awards across this region to support the supply chain and improvement of the supply chain out there. So 3 projects were chosen there in Arizona, and it's always good when we get some improvements here, and hopefully that passes on to other parts of the community as well. Don't forget, as we leave you here on this Friday, one, thank you for watching us, whether it's on Robat TV live at 11 o'clock, on demand on Robat TV, on demand on YouTube, here on McCollum on Business. Don't forget, get your Powerball ticket. 1.7 roughly jackpot here coming up on Saturday. Have some fun with it. It's not really business, but have some fun with it. Get that large dollar ticket there for you. Saturday night drawing, and maybe you'll win it. Just remember your favorite host when you win something. We'll see y'all on Monday here at McCollum on Business. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the opening weekend of the NFL. We'll see you on Monday, everybody.